Is it green? We are on.
Good morning, I'm Holly Beaupre, and I am the Investigative Officer in Maintenance.
I am Reagan Sensmeyer, and I am the Witness and Flight Instructor.
I'm Dylan Zwicky, and I am the investigative pilot.
And I'm Sophia Vocal, and I'm the president.
First, just a little information about our pilot.
You want this on? It's not displaying. You want it on?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Some information we have about her. Her name is Sandra Kim Possible Johnson. She's 41 years old. She's a private pilot, and her life motto is "I can do anything."
Just a little bit about her story. She often referred to herself as Kim Possible, although her name was Sandra. And she was just an ordinary girl looking to save the world. And when she was flying in the helicopter, she was trying to stop the evil Dr. Draken, save the world. And on the day of the crash, which was January 20th, 2011, her motto was disproven, and it turns out Sandra Kim Possible Johnson could not do anything.
Here are some other pictures of R-22 crashes. You can see there, some of them are kind of similar and some of them are different, like this one that somehow managed to run into a bus, but the rest of the plane, or the rest of the helicopter, seemed to be intact and okay, so it's interesting to see.
So what we did when we got to the crash site and tried to locate the 4 points of the helicopter, but we could not. We only found 3 of them. We couldn't find the tail anywhere. And so we started to speculate as like where the tail was and what happened. Oh, I can't read that. And then we found that one of the top rotors was bent, and it was at a weird angle and it was all torn up, and they both had scuff marks all over them.
It had some red paint on it. And then we found, kind of far from the crash, a danger sign, which was chipped, so it looked like that danger sign had rubbed on one of the rotors.
So the only other red paint on it was that danger sign from the tail that ended up somehow on the rotor. So some of the things we found that weren't a factor were her weight. So her weight was fine. She didn't have any psychological issues. She was not under the influence of anything. And her being alone had no effect on the crash, and neither did the visibility around her. And the helicopter was in perfect condition.
Some findings that were factors were she might have been distracted. She was not as experienced with helicopters as she could have been. Her certification, she was certified with a Swedish certification. She was flying low. She might have hit some trees because of that. The rotor might have been broken before the crash. The weather, maybe. Auto rotation, and the brake handle was pulled, it looked like.
So what we found for our causes was that the top rotor hit a tree when she was flying low and it bent. And that was, because she was flying low and hit trees. And once the top rotor bent, it hit the tail rotor. And that's what we saw, like the red paint, and that's how we know that. And that ripped off the tail of the helicopter, and then she hit the ground.
Some recommendations that we have is don't fly if you are under 60 hours of experience. Don't fly alone if you're under 60 hours of experience, because you won't know how to react to certain situations like the weather. Don't fly in bad weather. You might not be able to see your surroundings, like trees, which you might have run into. And don't fly alone if you don't know how to use your instruments, because again, you might not know how to react in certain situations. R-22.
All right, everybody, give a round of applause. This is your Word document, okay? We'll talk through that.
Okay. Okay, so as we said, we arrived at the crash and we started to try to locate the 4 points of our helicopter. We could not find them all. The tail was missing. We did a line search, and as we went through the line search, we found pieces of the helicopter that had been torn off. We found the tail rotor, we found the tail, which had red paint on it that said danger, and that red paint, as we said, matched paint that was found on the top rotor. The things that were not a factor: her weight, psychological issues. She didn't have any problems that were clear. Nothing that was big enough to cause this kind of an accident, at least. She wasn't under the influence of anything. She was alone. That was not really a factor. The visibility was not a factor. And then the R22 had been checked out, I want to say, three to 4 days before. So it should have been okay. Things that were a factor: she was distracted. And that was clear because it looked as if she had unbuckled, like she was trying to get something. And she was not experienced with helicopters. Since she was certified in Sweden, she was certified as a private pilot. She wasn't really certified as a helicopter pilot, and she didn't have the helicopter experience.
The causes that we said were she had hit a tree, which caused the top rotor to bend down and strike the tail, and that's the evidence is that the paint was on the tail and the top rotor, and that ripped off the tail, causing it to crash. Our recommendations, as we said, is don't fly if you're not experienced enough. 60 hours, we say, is a good limit to when you can start flying alone, because you'll know what to do, you'll know how to react, and and know your instruments too. That's what we need.
This is our drawing that we did when we first arrived and we did our line search. As you can see, this was where we found the helicopter, and this was where the pieces of the tail were. And there were trees on this side, so clearly, if that was where the tail fell off or was broken off, that was where she hit the trees, and then from there she just went down.
Well, the picture's not loading right now, but it's just a picture of a similar crash where it had the same type of impact on it, but you can't really see it. I don't know why the pictures are so screwed up.
Okay, well, these are the pictures of our findings. If we could see them, that would be helpful, but since we can't, I'll just go with it. The first photo shows the tail of the aircraft. It combines with the next evidence that it was hit by the main rotor, and it would have shown the red danger. The third photo shows that the main rotor suffered severe impact with the tail. You could see because it was kind of like snapped in half, and it was all kinds of messed up. And then we found the brake handle kind of a little ways from our crash, and to us that showed that she knew that something was wrong with the plane or with the helicopter, and that she pulled the brake to stop the rotors and thought that maybe she could glide down, but it didn't work out that way. And then our final photo, I think is our final photo, shows that the main rotor shaft was not damaged, proving that the brake had been pulled. And that is the end of our Word document.
Okay, around the room, let's give constructive criticism, please.
I have one for us.
So during the slides, you guys kind of were staring at your slides too much, like the paper, but you did better in your document. That's just one thing to be aware of.
Yeah, we'll try to have it in front of us too.
Like us, put it in chronological order, your findings, like what happened after we did something.
Yeah, okay.
Anything else, guys?
Preload this.
Wake up, C11, Andrew, say something. Wake up, it's just
I
Friday.
have one. We put that being alone wasn't a factor, and then it was, so we need to change that.
One thing,
Oh, did we?
one thing that I have to say is like, for all three of you, it just felt like only Sophia and Dylan like were confident with their thing. Like, how you started to look at the screen a little bit too much. You didn't like look at all of us about. Like
I was making eye contact
Yeah.
with that guy the whole
Like-
time. I was like, I got you.
You got 1 out of 12.
I just kind of work on interacting, I guess, like using hand gestures, looking at us, so and try not to be so nervous and speak up.
Yeah, it's called practice, right? It's called practice. Anything else, guys? Yes, sir.
I felt that like when you guys were presenting, Zawicki didn't really have that much information to present. It was mostly Sensmeyer and them that presented most of the
Yeah, we
information.
decided that they were going to do the slides and we were going to do the document.
Okay.
Yeah, we broke it in half, so.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say anything.
I got a question for, I guess, Holly. What does BFR stand for? B as in boy, FR. You hit on there twice.
It's for Holly.
What is, it's for Holly. What is it? As you quickly
That
look
was
on the
the check
internet.
on the helicopters.
Yeah, I don't know what it stands for, but it's.
Okay, so don't ever have an acronym, right? On your presentation, President Obama's slide, and he doesn't know what an acronym is, so you gotta have the acronym that's on. BFR stands for Biannual Flight Review. And that means it's a pilot review that I fly with you, or an instructor would fly with you every 2 years and sign off that you're safe. So it had anything to do with the plane.
Wait, what?
Oh.
BFR, Biannual Flight Review. Go look it up. No, don't have it on your slides if you don't know what the acronyms are. And where'd you guys get the 60 hour? You gotta fly with planes of 60 hours.
We came up with that number because she was.
You pulled it right out of your pocket and threw it down there and said, 60 hours, sounds great.
We thought that would make the most
We
sense.
thought that, because that's my opinion. You might want to back it up with research and say, you know what, we've researched it, and the other crashes, never had crashes less than 60. You gotta have some reason to have the 60 hours versus just, why not 70, why not 61, why not 100? So, anyway, that is great. Let's get ready for SAL 3 here. Everybody give a round of applause for this practice.